Good morning, everyone. It is now 11:31. I would like to welcome everyone to our public hearing regarding service modifications that were made in September of 2021 due to a shortage of bus operators. My name is Stephen Cagle. I'm the I'm the Vice President of Communications and Business Planning at Centro. I will be putting together a presentation for you momentarily, at which point, after the presentation is over, we will be taking questions. Individuals can ask questions regarding the service changes. And then at 12:30, we will have the official public hearing. If there are additional individuals who joined us late, I will go through the presentation one more time. And then the official comment period will begin approximately at 12:30. I would like to introduce also on our panel today our Chief Executive Officer Brian Schultz, our Deputy Chief Executive Officer Christopher Tuff, and you may see Paige Bixby. She is our ASL interpreter. And Linda Eggy, another individual, will be providing ASL interpretation during today's public hearing. So at this point, I will delve into our presentation, and after which, at that point, if you would like to type in a question for us, or if you'd like to speak, we'll give you the opportunity to ask that question. We'll unmute your mic, and you'll be able to speak and ask questions. So at this point, I will like to begin the presentation. So as I mentioned, in 2021, in September, we implemented a series of service reductions. These service reductions were caused by a shortage of bus operators. We were missing dozens of trips per day during that period, at which time we felt that it was necessary to reduce our service level to reset expectations of what we're able to cover. We did not want individuals to walk out to a bus stop and then have the bus not arrive. That was really unfair to users. That was the worst case situation. So we decided that we needed to readjust our service levels to a level that we knew we could provide those buses and those drivers and those routes, and make sure that everyone who walked out to a bus expecting a bus got a bus. It's affected nearly all of our Syracuse and Onondaga County bus routes. What we did when we made these changes is we took great efforts to retain what we thought were the most critical bus routes at the very beginning. Since those service reductions were put into effect, we've restored a lot of the service. Quickly, in about 3 weeks after we initially introduced those service reductions, we assessed our personnel, we redistributed our bus operators, and we were able to restore some suburban service in about 3 weeks. Later in fall, in November of 2021, we added more services. We included some commuter routes, and we were also able at that point, most importantly, to increase frequency on the bus routes that we were operating at that point. We have continued to restore service periodically since November of 2021, including a most recent round in March of this year. We now have our service level to about 70% of our previous operating levels in Syracuse and Onondaga County. It's not where we want it, but this is what our manpower allows at this time. From a ridership perspective, our ridership is about 73% of where we were pre-pandemic, and pre-pandemic about 2019 to early 2020. Our Syracuse city ridership is about 62% of pre-pandemic levels, and that's basically where we are system-wide. Though the city ridership in some areas like Utica and Rome and Oswego have increased to closer to 65 to 70% in those locations. So when you take a look at our system map and what services were, what areas were no longer being served, this map represents those changes. These, the solid line are services that are still active at locations we're still serving. The dotted line are some areas that we are no longer serving at this point. I'll go into greater detail. We're going to go through these line by line so people understand of those routes that tripped our what we call a major service change. We'll be presenting those routes to you. So much of what we cut wasn't, as I showed in the map, it wasn't about where we went. It was how often we're providing service. So it was really a reduction in frequency that really was the significant part of this service reduction. If you look at this chart, it shows the 11 bus routes where we had a reduction of service hours by more than 25%, and that triggers what we consider a major service change within our service area, and therefore we are required to hold a public hearing on those routes. It's the Circulator, it's the SY10, South Salina Nedrow, James Street, Westcott Camillus, Liverpool along the Route 57 corridor, Liverpool Morgan Road, Park Hill, Townsend East Colvin, Baldwinsville, Cicero or North Syracuse Central Square, and also James Street and Manoa. Another way that we measure our service changes is by the length of the route. Now, not all 12 of these services, or 12 of these bus routes trip that threshold, but it really doesn't matter since they were reduced by more than 25% from service hours. They are required to go to public hearings. This is a kind of just an indication of the 12 lines. 7 of the 12 not only were reduced in their frequency, but also in the length of the route as we officially calculate. So if you look at individual routes, the Circulator route that we had started not long before the service cuts were put into place was eliminated completely in total hours and also in all of its service area. Fortunately, this bus route is duplicative of other bus routes that we have, that if you need to get from one part of the city to another, you easily can do that via some other bus services that we have in place and have continued to operate. The SY10 South Salina Nedrow service, the dotted line there represents our Nedrow Express that is not operating at this point. Our James Street Sunnycrest route, the dotted lines represent Brittenfield Park, Carrier Circle, Fair Lakes Drive, and there's also been a reduction in frequency along this route as well. The SY323, which is our service to Manoa, we discontinued that in its entirety. That has been discontinued at this point. Ridership was very low on this route anyway. We were seeing significant ridership reductions because of changing commuting patterns due to COVID, and I'll talk to about those more in a few moments. This SY Westcott service was significantly reduced. The solid line here is a little misleading. We only have one trip that operates on this bus route. Currently, we do operate bus service along a portion of this route during the college school year as part of our Syracuse University shuttle network. So this area does have significant service during the college year. However, we're not in the college year right now, so this service right now is only really having one bus that runs in the morning. This was almost a total elimination, therefore. The SY36 Camillus West Genesee Street, the dotted line here represents really just one, what we call a deadhead trip back to the garage. It's a bus at the end of the night that travels out to the end of the line and then hops on the highway to come back. It's officially part of our route network, but it really is not functional from this bus route. Majority of individuals who use this bus route use it along the West Genesee West Genesee Street corridor. So this was really about a service frequency reduction that caused it to be part of this discussion. Our SY 46 Liverpool Route 57, the area there that is not served is Great Northern Mall. We don't serve that for a plethora of reasons, including the fact that there's really not much going on at the mall at this point. That service change was likely to occur had we not had a bus operator shortage as well. The SY 48 Liverpool Morgan Road, that bus route, the dotted line there represents Bayberry. We're not currently serving the Bayberry location along this bus route. The Park Hill, SY 58, Park Hill James, there are no dotted lines here. We are serving all of the locations that we've always served along the Park Hill. The issue here is the frequency of service. There's been a substantial reduction in the frequency of service. SY 72, East Colvin Street, Townsend Street. We're currently just operating a quick loop from the hub to Toomey Abbott along Birch Street. The service that connects to Loretto and Iroquois is no longer served on this bus route. We do serve those locations and other bus routes, but we don't serve it on this bus route. So this is part of the public hearing and public outreach. Our SY 82 Baldwinsville bus route, we're currently not serving Destiny USA and the path of travel to and from Destiny USA. And also we switched this route that would have been done anyway from a residential area just north of in the northern part of Baldwinsville to a work employment park that's further up near closer to I'm drawing a blank now on the name of the development out there, but it's to serve urban workers to get to a suburban location that we're really trying to be part of our system, and we're getting more and more requests for getting people from the city of Syracuse to suburban work locations. The SY 88 North Syracuse Cicero bus route, the actual deviation of the route has been minimal. This is really a reduction of frequency of service along that corridor. So when you look at all of what we have done, we're required to do an equity analysis on the service changes we have made since there's significant and major service changes to ensure that we did so in a fair and equitable way when you consider minority and low-income individuals. Only 3 of the 8, or it should be 3 of the 12 bus routes had significant impact on low-income and minority populations. When we look at the service eliminations on its entirety, system-wide, it really does not raise any concerns of an inequitable distribution of burdens or inequitable distribution of our bus services. We really took made a concerted effort to ensure that those populations were spared the lion's share of these service cuts the best we could as we put them into place in September of 21 and as we continue to restore and resume additional services. So that's an overview of what we did. Now the question becomes, what are our next steps? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to aggressively hire bus operators. You may have seen that we have had significant marketing campaigns in the past couple of years. The most recent around in January and March, where we invited individuals to come to our job location here and actually sit behind the wheel of a bus and get the feel of it. They were very successful. They were probably the 2 most successful hiring campaigns that we've had since COVID. And we're going to continue to look for drivers because we're still not where we need to be. We will continue to increase our services as our human resources allow. As we get an increase in the number of bus operators that we have here, we will be able to resume services. However, at this point, we are not there yet. There's still lots of work to be done, and we're still aggressively looking for bus operators to allow us to increase our services from where we currently are. And obviously, as we move forward, we really are going to consider community feedback as part of our future service improvements. You may have heard that we're looking at a system redesign, and public participation has already begun. We really encourage individuals to take part in this process because it's really an important part of where we're going to be in the future in the direction of public transportation in Central New York. And that project is our Exploring Tomorrow's Transit. We began this in January with a survey. We received more than 1,000 responses to our survey from the community, from riders and non-riders, what they'd like the system to look like. We also held some pop-up meetings in recent weeks where we met with individuals to explain a little bit of what's going on and also encourage more individuals to take the survey. We will have some community meetings in the next couple of months, actually, where there'll be larger sessions where we can meet with individuals and talk about what their needs are, and have focus groups and individuals who really will give us some feedback on what they'd like to see within the Centro system. And this will be a process that will begin in a couple of weeks, to 4 to 6 weeks will begin, and then it will be an ongoing process during our redesign of our service system. Part of that redesign, you may be well aware, is something called Bus Rapid Transit. In 2018, the Syracuse Metropolitan Transportation Council put together a study called the Smart One study that looked at the potential of bus rapid transit in the city of Syracuse. It identified 2 corridors from Eastwood to OCC, and from the north side from the Regional Transportation Center, Destiny USA, up through University Hill. Those were locations that had existing ridership and had significant growth potential, and where there was a need for bus rapid transit. Bus rapid transit is a service that will operate faster than our existing service. It will stop fewer times. It will have increased frequency along these corridors. We think that will be an attractive bus service for individuals because it will compete with the car better than our current service does, because it will make fewer stops and it will move along the roadway faster than our current service. So that is something that we are currently in the process of designing. We have hired a firm a consulting firm to take a look at the Smart One study to see if any tweaks could be made to it, whether it still holds up to a post-COVID world. We believe it does. The target for implementation of the BRT system is in 2026. So although it's a ways away, it will be here faster than you would think. Another element that we're looking at with our system redesign is on-demand transportation. This is really Uber, but in a public transportation form. This would allow an individual to use an app or make a phone call or use our website to schedule a ride that is not currently available to them in the fixed route system. It's probably going to be very popular in areas that have less density, where the fixed route system really doesn't meet individual needs because the frequency isn't there. But it's something that may also be popular, as we're finding out, where there is significant fixed route service, a regular bus service. So that's something that we're looking at in the not too distant future. We are looking to roll out a on-demand system in the city of Rome, in a smaller area, a smaller one of our properties, to test the product, and looking at within the next year for that to be up and running. And once that's up and running, we'll look to bring this type of service potentially to other parts of our service area, including Syracuse and Onondaga County. You may or may not be aware that we are also expanding the city's bike and scooter share program. If you're familiar with that, the green bikes that you see that have been in the city of Syracuse for the past couple of years. The city can only operate that service within the city limits. Those bikes and scooters will shut off once they get beyond the city boundaries. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to expand the service area beyond the city of Syracuse. So users can use it to get to more places and not just have to stop at the city boundaries. So about 6 weeks ago, we expanded the service to OCC. If you go on the VO app, you'll see that you now can ride your bike all the way up to Onondaga Community College. I believe that's going to be very popular when school gets back in session in fall. And we hope to have this program expanded to other parts of the Syracuse Onondaga County area in the very near future, within a couple of months or so. So we're looking forward to being able to expand that program for transportation as a transportation option. What we're looking to do in general is we're looking to be more than just a bus company and offer different modes of transportation, and to have people think of us as a transportation provider, not just a bus company. As I had mentioned previously, since COVID, we are seeing some changes in the commuting needs of our community. We're seeing a decrease in the number of individuals who use our services every day. A lot of people have the opportunity to work from home. That used to be in the office 5 days a week. That's no longer the case. Many of them are remote working is continuing. It's decreasing demand and decreasing ridership on some of our routes. And in addition, what we are seeing is we're seeing an expansion, an increased need to getting individuals who live in the city of Syracuse to job situations that are outside the city of Syracuse. I think probably the one that comes to mind for most is the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Clay. We provide direct service from our hub to the fulfillment center to meet their shifts. Ridership is substantial. There have been times where we have had to add additional buses to handle the demand. That has continued, and that is something that we're looking at in the future as Micron and other businesses open up. We're really concentrating in getting people to locations where you have to be on site to perform your job. That is something that is definitely changed a little bit since the pandemic occurred. And as I mentioned, the reason why we're here is because we need bus operators. And if you know of somebody, or if yourself you're interested, I would encourage you to go on our website at www.centro.org. You can find your way to our hiring page. And we would encourage you to direct people there if you know somebody who's looking to become a bus operator. We require 5-year driving experience. And we are a drug-free workplace. And we do require that individuals, when they are hired, they must have a CDL permit. However, we will train you to get your CDL license, and we will pay you during that training. Our training is about a 10-week process, from the day you walk through the door to the day that you're behind the wheel by yourself operating one of our bus routes. And that is the conclusion of the presentation. It's at this point that if there are individuals who'd like to ask questions, we'll do the best we can to answer them. We will then, as I said in the beginning, we will go through this presentation one more time if there are additional individuals who join us. Otherwise, we will just start the public hearing at 12:30, so you can officially enter your comments into the public record. And with that, I'm going to ask Lynette Paduano if we have any individuals who have any questions for us at this point.
Thank you, Steve. I'm looking at the attendee panel at this time. There are no questions entered into the log area. Just as a reminder, if anyone does have a question, you can use the raise hand icon on your go-to panel, and we can unmute your microphone, or you can type your question into the question area, and we will respond to that.
Yes, and This presentation is being recorded, by the way. We will have this up on our website and also up on our YouTube channel upon its completion, and after we get a chance to put it up there. Edit it, put it up there. I would also like to introduce our one of our central board members. Luella Williams is present at this time. She is one of our board members, and she's listening to your feedback and your comments. Nobody?
I have no raised hands and no additional questions visible at this time.
Are there individuals who would like to make an official comment into the public record? And are just waiting for that portion of the public hearing?
Steve, we still have no raised hands and no additional questions posted at this time, just as an update from the 10 attendees showing in our panel. Paige, we will pause briefly to see if we have any additional attendees pop on here, and if any hands are raised or if any additional questions are posted.
We apologize for the technical disruption there. We will resume or begin the public hearing comment period as scheduled at 12:30. Again, I apologize for the technical interruption. I would also like to just let people know that tomorrow we are holding in-person public hearings on this matter at the Salt City Market at noon and 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. So there are two opportunities for individuals to meet with us in person and ask any questions regarding these service reductions. Okay, it is now 12:30. As there are no new individuals who have joined the public meeting, I will refrain from repeating the presentation that we have all heard. And at this point, I'm going to officially open the public hearing for our September 2021 service reductions. Any individuals who would like to make a comment on the public record, feel free to use the question or raise your hand function of the on the bar to your right there, and we will allow you to either type in or speak on the public record. Thank you. All right, as of this moment, it's 12:33. No one has expressed an interest in making comment on the September 2021 service changes. Therefore, at 12:33, I am officially closing this public hearing. I'd like to thank everyone for attending. If you have any further questions at any point, feel free to contact us via email or call us if you have any further questions regarding service, our service reductions or potential service additions in the future. Again, I thank you all for coming here, and hope everyone has a great day. Thank you.